everybody, today on the camera department, how to light food like this.
Why you so salty? I'll still take a bite.
Okay, we can take my Lambo. I'll put on a tight show. You sure you can handle? We be faster than Django.
Take you on a ride.
Very simply, very efficiently, very easily. Even so easy that Jeff and I can do it. You can also even do it with a light bulb, a single light bulb. We chose LED daylight, but we didn't actually use this light bulb. But it's easy, I promise. Jeff and I did it, and it's easy. We're stupid. You can do it.
No.
Yes, you can. Don't say no. Here's what we did. All right, so you've probably figured out no live stream today, no live show, so we're just giving you this video. Jeff and I had to pay our rent, and we happen to be in a building where there's a restaurant, and the restaurant owner also owns the building. He also owns a movie theater. So we got tasked with shooting some lunch promos. So basically he wants to drive a little more traffic in for his lunch business, blah, blah, blah. That's what you guys have seen. That's what this footage here is.
When you get through after you take the picture?
Well, here's the reality of it. After a while, our fingers have been all up in this business a good bit. So if you don't mind.
No. Yeah, that's a good point.
So how we went about that is I have a very high-tech, very well-developed, fancy graphinator chart matrix compositized footage. It's a still photo from my cell phone that I threw some shitty graphics on. And I just wanted to kind of go over how we put things together because I think it's kind of important when you consider that. It's a very simple concept. As I said earlier, you can use just a simple light bulb if you have enough output. In our case, we were using a Kino. We used our Hive light, which was daylight balanced, and then we just used a reflector. So we had 3 pieces of lighting gear, and then we had 1 piece of grip gear, which was a flag. And you can do this multiple ways. So the restaurant was still open, which meant the lights had to stay on, which meant we didn't have full control. And I personally think food looks better in daylight, in natural light, if you will, than it does in tungsten light, which is light bulb light, normal light bulb light. We use daylight bulbs in most of our stuff. So looking at this, what we kind of have here is, as you can see, we start out with what I'm going to call a key backlight. And the reason I say it's a key backlight is because really I think food looks really nice backlit, especially if it hits a reflector and that just kind of kicks back a little kiss on top of it. It just kind of gives it a little more of a kind of a special glow to it. It makes it feel a little more fancy, right, than it really is, because this is really simple food in this case. So we wanted to make it feel fancy, and one of the ways we did that was with this key backlight. We just had a silk laying over the top of it. At some point we pulled the silk back and just shot straight into the reflector. It drapes across the food, it hits a reflector, you bring the reflector or a bounce, either way, and that brings a nice little glow back into it. Just a very soft, diffused light, and that's what we want with food, as much diffused light as possible. If it's hitting the edge of the plate, fine, it gives you a little rim if it's hard light, but you really want the food itself to be diffused. So then the next component we bring in is we brought in an overhead, which is where I would say bring in a very soft source. In our case, again, we're using a Kino, but you can do poor man's Kinos by just getting some daylight bulbs from your local Home Depot and hooking them up to one of those like garage type lamps that you can just buy very cheap. Or you can use an LED strip or whatever you got to do, but just want some really soft diffused light. Now I did have the Louvier or the egg crate inside of that just to kind of direct the light downward just a bit. And to give us enough chutzpah to do what we wanted to do, which was also finish this for 4K DCI. We had to finish it to put it into a movie theater. Looks great on the web, looks great in the theater. Jeff has graded it in HDR. I'll post a link somewhere maybe. But the HDR is even more punchy and more poppy. It's amazingly powerful, good looking stuff. So we have that overhead soft source over the food. We have the key backlight shining into the reflector that then glows up the food even more. You'll see it in this Coca-Cola cup. You can kind of see it there in this shot particularly. I think I'm moving it around here so you can kind of see it moving. And then we also want to kind of control as much of the daylight, the ambient light that's in the space, not the daylight, I'm sorry, the ambient light that's in there because the restaurant was open while we were filming, right? So we brought in a flag, just a single flag, just a 4x, and we brought it, no, I'm sorry, not a 4x, a 14x36, a medium cutter. We brought it in, set it on the C-stand and just set it just over the plate. So the only light really reaching down and really interacting with our food stage area was going to be the light that we brought in, our controlled light. and that's the majority of it, with the exception of some television. So we had a nice effect where the TVs in the background were causing like little flickers on the table because it's a shiny table. We left those in, thought they looked pretty good, and we're okay with it. Instead of turning the TVs off, you couldn't read what was on the television, so it didn't matter. Put it all together, and you kind of get this sort of look. Now that's like the third time you guys have seen this little spot. So hopefully it makes sense to you. If you have any questions, don't forget you can always comment. You can always like, which is good. That also helps us pay attention. If you like the video and then you comment and say you like the video, we'll respond faster. You can also always shoot us emails. You guys know how to do that. If you don't, it's drew@craftshow.com, jeff@craftshow.com. Shoot us an email. We'll help you the best way we can. We shot this for those pixel peepers on the GH5, right?
GH5.
Shot this on the GS, actually.
S.
Yeah, shot this on the GH5S. Jeff's playing Fortnite. Shot this on the GH5S. We did use some Cine lenses. We used our Zeiss CP primes, but you can get away with pretty much any lens you want, and it'll give you the same effect and look pretty nice. That's it. Pretty simple stuff. Nothing too crazy, nothing too hard. The thing is, it's all about the design in your head when you go into it, knowing what the limitations are. In this particular instance, we had a very short amount of time, and again, had to keep our footprint very small in order not to bother the patrons that were going to the movies, and also because the restaurant and the theater was open while we were filming. So that's it. Pretty simple stuff. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll do a live stream this week. If not, we'll catch you soon. We're out.
A little tiny bit of film underneath that. Yeah, it's right now. That was underneath it. It might work now.
Can't stop.
It'll work.